Hola amigos, and welcome back to the Rev Report. My name is Moshe Frisch. I am with my co-host, Gabe.
How we all doing tonight? Welcome back.
Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Before we begin, I would just like to thank Hashem for letting us do what we love to do, talk about cars, be together, and in our health, Baruch Hashem. And before we begin, I would just like to add a quick sponsor, or a couple sponsors, Precision Writers, LLC. They do resume writing, content development, count with me, ghostwriting, copy editing, proofreading, agency trainings. That's 6 things. www.precisionwriters.com. That is www.precisionwriters.com. 970-333-9704. 970-333-9704. Also, SK Jewelers. They make lab-grown diamonds, which are literally the exact same thing as mined diamonds, except they are at a significantly cheaper price. They also make eternity bands, stud earrings, and solitaire pendant necklaces. They are at 718-951-0191. That is 718-951-0191. And finally, Swift Travel Hub. They make traveling easier. They group everything together so you don't gotta book the hotel, get the flight, whatever. They do all that stuff for you. They make your life so much easier. You can find them at bookings, or you can email them at bookings@swifttravelhub.com, and you can contact them only on WhatsApp, 877-340-6727, 877-340-6727. Gabe, let's start it up.
Well done.
Thank
That was
you.
the first time Moshe did it. Actually, the second time that Moshe did an intro. Is it the first time or the second time? I think the first time we ended up. Yeah, the first time we ended up scrapping the whole podcast. I think, no.
Yeah, don't ask about that one. Let's start it
That's
up.
a rough one. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Take it away. Take it away.
Okay, let's start it with why the IONIQ 9 is surprisingly unique. Mr. Gabe apparently has some interesting
I
things
was
to
going
say
to let
about
you
it.
go first.
Oh, I mean, you said you had some very interesting things to say about it, so please.
I know about it. Okay, sure. Well, for those of you that don't know, the IONIQ 9 is the all-new entry into the IONIQ family. Hyundai has been really rolling with this IONIQ thing, right? It's a pretty good bit at this point. They started with the 5 a couple years ago, and then the 6, which Moshe absolutely loves. The number one car. If he could get any car, it would be the 6 for sure, hands down. You heard it here first. And now they come in with the IONIQ 9. The IONIQ 9 is a full-size. Let me pull up a picture, everybody. It's a full-sized
Full-size
EV.
SUV.
Oh, why? What? I didn't. Ooh, that's bad prep. One second. Let me search picture. 2026.
It's a full-sized electric vehicle, which is rare, by the way, because generally electric vehicles nowadays are normally sedans or subcompact SUVs. They're generally not bigger cars, and if they are a bigger car, they're generally pretty pricey. Rivian, not cheap at all. So the fact that the IONIQ 9 is fairly affordable especially for an electric vehicle, is not bad. Car and Driver, not a sponsor. It's
Not a sponsor, but
I can't really give my true opinion on this again. I am a age-old electric car hater, but it doesn't look terrible.
wow.
But I'm sure the average
high
person.
praise.
I'm sure the average
Even
person
this
who isn't-
back end over here, you don't think it looks bad? Right here, this little
I don't-
spaceship looking.
As far as electric cars go, that's really not that bad.
Really? Well, you're gonna
For
love
the average
interior.
person who isn't absolutely insane like me about electric cars, that'd actually probably be a good-looking car. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a
Gabe agrees
quality
kinda?
car.
Yeah.
Am I in love with this car? No, I am not in love with this car. Not gonna lie, because I'm not a massive fan of this rear end here. Really, there's something about it that's off to me.
This angle you can really
Right?
see.
Something's
kind of,
off. Something's off. I don't know what it is. It
a little bit.
doesn't
Kinda
sit
like
well
it
with
got
me.
rear-ended and just kind of got like smushed in a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And then they just left it. They left it.
Yeah, they're like
But
that.
oh, interior is nice for sure. Hands down, very nice. Beautiful interior. The classic new
Yeah.
Hyundai interior. You see this on the new Palisade as well. You have this new-ish steering wheel. You find it on the Santa Fe. This is
Are the side view mirrors inside the car?
Yes, so this picture is from the one in South Korea, I believe the South Korean model, because in the United States it is illegal to have these basically these are the side view cameras. They're cameras. There are no mirrors
like
outside the
blind
car.
spot thing.
Exactly.
Oh, there's no mirrors?
Not even there are no
Oh,
mirrors outside the
wow.
car. The cars in the South Korean models do not have mirrors. They
My
have
God.
cameras. So I believe this picture is not for U.S. markets. So if you are enthralled by this picture and you're only going to buy this car because they have the cameras on the inside,
Go to
too bad.
South Korea.
Yeah,
Konnichiwa.
exactly.
Wrong
Listen, you could
language.
go out there. I mean, I'm not going to stop you,
I
right?
mean, yeah, book a
You
flight.
could. You could.
Book a flight through Swift Travel Hub. Yeah, anyway.
Look at that. There we go. We hooked up one of our sponsors just like that.
Bam.
The very interesting part to me about this car, what sets it, we've had this discussion a lot. Why does a manufacturer produce a car? So, especially when their sister company has the Kia EV9, this is one of the only affordable full-sized EVs on the market. You could go
What's
for a
the
luxury, but it can't.
MSRP?
MSRP, I think,
Yeah.
about 40 around, give or take.
You
Meaning,
might-
is it affordable for us? No. But for someone that's in the market for a full-sized EV, for sure. Compared to a
MSRP 58, not cheap, but for an SUV EV,
compared to
not
compared to a
terrible.
Cadillac Escalade IQ or
compared
Mystique,
to a Rivian.
Rivian's well over 80.
Yeah. So that's fairly cheap for a fully electric SUV. So not bad. Okay. Hyundai.
Yeah, and given
Not
the
bad.
range too, solid range.
What are the range
335 miles of range with if you go with the ranged out model, which means two-wheel drive, the long range edition.
Sure.
Your car's not going to be fast. I mean, it's not going to be super slow, but it's not going to be fast. But
It's an
335
SUV.
miles
You're
of
gonna
range.
ask him for that. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
That's not bad. That's really, really not that bad, especially for that price. It's not bad.
Not
It
bad.
ain't cheap, but comparatively, it's pretty cheap. Not
Right.
terrible. And it's
I
fueled.
think it might be a
it's
little
the
more
cheapest.
expensive than the EV9, but like
The Kia
EV9's a
EV9?
little faster. But
Kia EV9 MSRP.
if you want to drop more of range, then you go with the Ioniq 9. The
No,
EV9
they're about the same price.
is the
about the
EV9 cheaper though? At like, meaning what's the starting MSRP on the
No.
EV9?
54,900 compared to 58. Okay, so it's
A
about
little cheaper,
$4
but nothing
grand
great.
cheaper.
But you get what you pay for. Meaning the EV9 is a little sportier, right? Fastest 0 to 60 time in the EV9. So the quickest model. So you have two-wheel drive, no range, under 250 miles of range, is 4.5 seconds, and the fastest Ioniq 9 model is 4.9 seconds. So I guess that's really the difference between the Ioniq 9 and the EV9, is that the Ioniq 9 is a little more focused towards range, even though 334 miles of range, 335 miles of range, and 304 miles of range. It's really not that big of a difference when it comes down to it, because that's only when you're cruising.
Yeah.
Cruising, no AC, no heat.
Yeah. Not good. But very impressive. Very impressive vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Well
All
done.
right. Let's switch to the next topic. I believe we are talking about the Nissan Armada, the refreshed Nissan Armada. Nissan recently made a newer Nissan Armada, and it's not selling very well. Or it's not selling to what it should be selling, especially for a car that just got a whole new refresh. Nissan apparently went out of their way to make a brand new Nissan Armada, make it nicer, snazzier, and they chose the wrong car because no one's buying it. Let's do some comparisons here. The Nissan Armada in the first quarter of 2025 sold 3,910 units. And you might think, that's not bad. Hey, it's Nissan. That's pretty bad for Nissan. And comparatively to its direct competitors, the Chevrolet Tahoe, 29,827 in the same time span, and the GMC Yukon sold 23,000. And I have never seen a GMC on the road, so I don't know what GMC's doing, but they're selling way better than the Nissan Tahoe. So this is a disaster for Nissan, especially who went out of their way to make a whole new Nissan Armada. So what are they doing? No clue. I don't know why they chose that car. I don't know. I thought it was a good idea. I don't know why they couldn't go with a different car that was selling better than the Nissan Armada, especially because its competitors are pretty strong. It's not a bad car by any means. It's pretty good for its price. Again, it's a Nissan. We've slandered Nissan a bunch in the past, but it's just in comparison to its direct to competitors Toyota and Honda, who are just on a whole other level of amazing. So Nissan has a very, very, very high bar. But on its own, it's a good car. So you can't really blame Nissan, but you also kind of have to blame Nissan because they chose to refresh this car, and it's not selling. Gabe?
And now I am off of mute. Yeah, I think
He's
it's.
now off mute.
I can't help but agree with you. Really, the truth is that the this market is this specific niche of the market. This large. Would you even call this a full? What would we call this little market? A full size SUV, or we call this a large? Actually, let me see. Let's see what Car and Driver
This is a
refers
full
to it
size,
as.
I would say.
Full size. They call it full sized. So this is the full size SUV. Okay, let's get this out. This is the full size SUV market. Oh, Chevy Tahoe, Chevy Suburban, GMC Yukon, Ford Expedition, Jeep Wagoneer, Grand Wagoneer. This Toyota Sequoia,
It's a lot of competition, and a
a
car
lot
is
of
not selling that
competition.
well.
And the truth is that it didn't even come close. It's not even close to the top dogs of the industry.
It was literally a
The
tenth,
Tahoe
like
and the
actually
Yukon.
a tenth.
Not
the other
even
cars that
close.
sold.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I don't.
The other
It's
cars sold at an order of magnitude higher than this one has. So
yeah. It's
don't-
not. The truth is that I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how Nissan will recover from this. Their numbers in general have been down. Have been down recently, but it might be time to call it quits on the Armada. Even though it is a solid car, but it's being
it's a good car on its own.
absolutely
If you're looking at
destroyed.
it, yeah, if you're looking at it on its own, nothing else. It's a good car. It's a good car, good price. It'll get you where you need to go, and it'll get you there comfortably. But when you look at what you could also buy besides for it, why? That's why it's not buying. That's why it's not selling. It's just because like when you look at the other options, the people just gravitate towards those as opposed to this one. No one was waiting. Here's
Why
the kicker.
though?
No one
Why
was
do people
waiting for the
gravitate?
refresh of the Nissan Armada. No one woke up and said, "Oh my god, today's the day," and then they full run to their Nissan dealership and then got the new refresh. The regular one was fine. I don't really care for the new refresh. Sorry, Nissan. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I was pretty excited when I heard about the refresh just because it looked pretty nice. Because well, you can't see in the picture because I took it away, but the Armada does have certain aspects of it that are pretty nice. You have a beautiful not an all new, but let's see, the interior design is stunning, absolutely stunning. It feels like a luxury. It looks like a luxury. It looks like the Infiniti. Okay, not exactly. Maybe whoa. The Infiniti QX80 and the Nissan Armada are big sister, little sister. The Infiniti QX80 is the luxury car on this same exact body. It is literally looks exactly the same. Interior, exterior, more or less exactly the same vehicle. Just you have nice Infiniti niceties that you don't find on the Armada. So the Armada in general, I like the refresh. I like the way it looks. I think it's a stunning piece in comparison to what it used to look, which was just a big, bulky bit. Now it's nice. It's pretty bold. It's exciting. It is different. It does give. Could be Nissan was trying to go with a more exotic approach to this market. For example, the Tahoe and the Yukon both also have gone through some sort of refreshing over the years to change the gauge cluster, not the gauge cluster, the shifter, change the headlights a little bit, change the taillights, change somewhat of the overall design. Nothing too crazy. But I think Nissan probably thought that, hey, let's go ahead and take this big boxy monster and turn it into a big boxy pretty monster. And that is what they did essentially. It is nice.
Yeah.
It does look pretty nice. It's really nice. It's not like I wouldn't call it a fail necessarily on the aesthetics, but if you look at the numbers, this car, it clearly has not worked enough for Nissan to necessarily put more R&D into this specific segment, in my opinion. But I guess we'll see. Time will tell. Who knows? Maybe people just gravitate to Armadas now. Could be. They'll ditch the Tahoes. They'll ditch the Yukons. Could be. Maybe.
I doubt it. But anyway, would you like to take us to our next segment?
Sure. And are we on our third or fourth segment right now?
We are on the third segment.
Our third segment, we are going to talk about let me just make sure we got the right one. Okay. The truth about the Jeep Wagoneer line. Now, for most people, the Jeep Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer were a tremendous, pleasant surprise because, whoa, Jeep is coming in with this absolutely stunning for most people. Stunning, large, full-size SUV to compete with the Chevy Tahoe, the Suburban, the Expedition, the Armada, all those cars we just said before. The same market that the Armada was in. And they had these cool screens. They had a screen by the passenger. It was, woo. We're bringing back the Jeep Wagoneer. We're bringing it back.
Ooh. It's very.
It's really, and it worked because a lot of people were like, wow. Wow. So now when you ask someone, even now, it's hard to find a Wagoneer or a Grand Wagoneer because a lot of the dealerships just don't have them. But if you find someone a random person, you ask them, hey, do you think the Jeep Wagoneer or the Grand Wagoneer was a success for Jeep? More or less, oh, look who it is, Lil Frishy himself.
Can you hear?
Oh.
Headphone. I can't really turn it the other way, but we'll do a little flip. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my brother, Mrs. Moshe Frisch.
Wow.
Would you like to give your opinion on the Jeep Grand Wagoneer?
Here, let me I'll pull up a picture for him.
Yeah, 1 second.
We do the Grand Wagoneer or the Wagoneer?
Let's show him the Grand Wagoneer. Let's give him a little peek. Yeah.
Let's take a peek.
You can hear him, man.
Just barely.
All right, I'll turn it up a little bit.
See?
My left ear's being blasted.
Here we go.
Just take off the thing.
Because it'll make an echo.
Okay.
Oh, can you see?
Am I in the frame? I am in the frame.
A little bit, yeah. What are we thinking, Dove?
It looks like every other Jeep.
Looks like every other Jeep. That is a
Wow.
hot take.
I wonder what. Probably because of the grill. Is it because of the grill?
Yes, the grill's definitely adding to that. It reminds me, what is it? Is it like the Yukon similar class?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
It's directly competing
Wow.
against the Wow.
See?
Clearly it runs in the family.
Listen,
Wow.
I was actually the first choice as the co-host of this podcast.
Yeah.
Moshe was the reject.
No,
And,
that's not. No,
In the kindness of my heart, I recommended him, but really
no.
I'm the one with the real car intelligence.
Right. No, so that's not. He's. What a kidder. What a dude.
Yeah,
Anyway.
So silly.
Listen,
Very silly.
I think it definitely, it's at least looks wise.
Yeah.
It's accomplishing what it's trying to accomplish. It's a carbon copy of every other Suburban.
That is some rough takes.
Honestly, look, it's a pretty hot
Especially-
take.
Off in what way?
It's a pretty hot take, especially from a car that I am a huge fan of. I think this is you can't really call it a beautiful car. It's kind of a handsome car,
From
especially
a
the
simple
interior.
looks perspective, how does this differ from the other cars? From the
Look at the interior, though. Come on.
Chevy Suburban and the GMC Yukon?
Yeah, it looks way better than the Chevy Suburban and the Yukon.
On the exterior, not at all.
Oh, come on. It's a very good-looking car.
Let's get
Look at this.
comparison.
We got the screen and the seats and the steering wheel. It's all very nice. It's all very good.
Get a visual comparison.
Dovey is requesting a visual comparison. Mr. Gabe. I could do it on my screen, but the boys won't see that. I don't know how to screen share, so I'll just do it over here. The Chevy Yukon.
For all this podcasting, you don't screen share.
I'm inviting you on here out of the kindness of my heart,
Yeah.
okay? In front of all these people, and you're embarrassing me. This is boring. I'm sorry. Look at this. This is boring and dumb. Oh, he's showing it on his screen. Look at this. It's just a box with a hood.
You just described all cars.
No. The Grand Wagoneer is a gorgeous car. It's got fantastic grille and hood design. And look at this. Come on. Boring.
Is that a Jeep Grand Wagoneer right there?
All right. Thank you, Dovey, for coming on the show. We'll see you next time. You can go. We're just
Am I
gonna.
getting caned?
We're just. You're getting caned right now.
Wow, you're kicking him out already? That was fast.
Kicking him out. No, come back here. No, come here. No, come here. No, come here. No, come here. I want you to apologize to everyone. All right, for insulting the Grand Wagoneer.
Apologize for
It's fine. The numbers I'm about to
Yes.
spit out are backing him up.
What numbers?
The numbers that. Oh no, go my numbers.
What's wrong
Okay.
with the numbers?
In 2020, I'm just going to compare to. We would all agree that the Wagoneer and the Jeep created Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer to compete with the Tahoe Suburban Yukon, right? Essentially, we'll pick the Tahoe and the Yukon. Okay, so the Wagoneer against the Tahoe and the Yukon. They're both not extended. Good show. Okay, in the year 2020, in the first quarter of 2025, first quarter. There were, where are my notes here? We just said this before. Chevy sold 29,827 Tahoes. The first quarter. These are the same numbers that we used with the Armada.
So about 30 grand, yeah.
Right. And the Yukon sold, there were 23,000 Yukon sold in the first quarter of 2025 alone. Now, for the Wagoneer, in 2024, in the entire year, Jeep sold not the first quarter, in the entire year of 2024, Jeep sold 16,734 Wagoneers.
Ooh.
In an entire year. That's over 10,000 units less than the Tahoe has sold in the first quarter of 2025.
Ooh.
Now you tell me, from an and guess how many Grand Wagoneers were sold? I think we just said this.
Wagoneers?
In 2024, in the entire year, 4,005.
Ooh.
In the first quarter of 2025, Nissan sold 3,910 Armadas. And we just spoke about how the Nissan is terrible.
Okay, well, hold on. For starters, that's Nissan versus Jeep. Nissan is supposed to be able to sell these things. Jeep sells higher quality. But again, it's kind of, you know, the old story about why Toyota made Lexus, because you can make it as fancy a Toyota as you want, it'll always still be a Toyota. So they needed a luxury brand, right? So when you think Jeep, you're not thinking luxury vehicle. You're thinking outdoor, rugged, off-roading vehicle. So for them to go and make a luxury SUV is crazy. And I don't even know who suggested that, because that's very un-Jeepy. But when you...
Say, if I may interject.
Okay, no. Just you take the headphones.
Wait, was I invited here or not?
You weren't. You busted.
You have to give him the mic, Moshe.
Right, you want the mic?
Behind the scenes, I was invited. I just want the record to show that.
Okay.
But I was gonna say, it does seem like a bit of a strange move. I mean, I guess they're not just targeting Jeep fans in general. Look, they're probably trying to target.
They're trying to expand. Yeah,
I understand that. I'm not as well versed as the experts here at the Rev Report, but as far as I'm aware, Jeep generally targets more outdoorsy types.
Sure.
I guess have they made previous moves? Have they moved towards more of a luxury market in the last few years?
I mean, just the Wagoneer.
Is this the first?
Well, the Cherokee.
Yeah, just the Wagoneer. Well, the Grand Cherokee.
Kind of a middle ground car, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's right. Yeah, Grand Cherokee recently has become a very solid middle ground.
It's very out of nowhere. It's out of their brand for some reason. I don't know why they decided to do it, and I don't know. I mean, because listen, if you are a Jeep, you're confined to a very, very niche.
Right.
Especially for an entire car company. Your entire car company is build car that drive off road. You can accomplish that with one car. I mean, you can make a sedan that does it, and then like a subcompact SUV. You can't really make a very outdoorsy SUV. By the way, the Wagoneer has some off-roading capabilities, but if your entire company is constricted to just one style, like a car that does one thing, you can only make so many cars. So how are they supposed to expand? So they tried to with the Wagoneer. And it was very cool at first, and it's a shame because I really like it, and happens to be they did a fantastic job with it. So whoever suggested it, hats off to you, but it's not selling. So I don't know what they're going to do because their sales are very rough.
When did it launch?
2020, 2021. So since then, surprisingly enough, the sales have been down significantly.
That's unbelievable. What are they doing wrong?
There was a huge boom at first. People were buying it like hotcakes.
It's a high quality car.
It is a very high quality car.
Yep. It's high quality, but for some reason, for example, in 2024, total number of Jeeps sold were 587,725 units. In 2020, there were 795,313 Jeeps sold in the USA. So we're talking about a decrease of over 200,000 units a year.
Yeah, look at this.
Which is significant. In that time frame, though, it's
consistently dying. That's rough.
That's Jeep sales in general.
Jeep sales total, every car, including the Wrangler, which is like their flagship Jeep car. When you think Jeep, you think Wrangler. So that's consistently getting lower every single year. We're talking 2020, 795. Next year, 768. Next year, 684. Next year, 642. 2024, 587, and at the beginning of 2025, it's not looking much better.
So maybe this is more of a marketing issue.
It could be marketing, but it could be Jeep as a whole. Who's going to buy a Jeep now? I mean, Jeep used to be.
That's what I'm saying. Like maybe they're losing their market share.
Yeah, Yeah, they have huge competition now from the Honda Pilot.
Stellantis in general is a failing. Is terrible.
Like you were saying, it's a niche market and it makes it tough to expand what they had with the off-road vehicles. But at the same time, they had a pretty firm grip on that section of the market. Like now they're entering when you enter the market of, I guess, like these more broad, like luxury type vehicles, when there's a ton of other competitors with the same exact type of car. Like I said, it's a carbon copy. All of a sudden, you're just one of the boys. You're just in the big pond.
One of the boys.
Yeah,
it's true. You know.
Well said. No, you're right. You're definitely right. I agree. I hit that.
Used to have like the if you wanted an outdoor, like not an outdoor, like the outdoor vehicle, we're talking this thing belongs in a 2-foot river, cruising across it, you'd get a Jeep Wrangler. Now, you can get a Ford Bronco. You can even possibly get a 2026 Honda Pilot. They're making new ones. So
not only have they failed to expand into the broader market,
they failed to
grip on their own niche.
Yeah. And that is a dying company.
But they also, which leads us into the next topic of what Dovey will definitely add to this, the Wagoneer S. They're a fully electric SUV. So that is, I mean, it's something that meaning that's something that I think anyone looking in to this conversation would suggest Jeep does for the future.
I'm sure it'll only be positive.
Yes. Oh yes, Moshe hates hates EVs. But Dovey, what do you think? Do you agree? Looking back, if you were working for Jeep, given everything you just said, you're working for Jeep, your Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer have not adapted to this niche market well, to the large SUV market well. Your shares are, the numbers are staggering, essentially. Staggering. You look at the market and you see every other manufacturer producing or developing some kind of fully electric vehicle. Fully electric SUV, fully electric sedan, but we're a Jeep, we're not going to make a sedan. It's just not going to happen. So we go ahead and we make the Wagoneer as the first fully electric SUV from Jeep. Would you do that move again? Do you agree with it? Strictly from a business perspective.
I think the EV industry as a whole has kind of been collapsing. So, I mean, if we all knew the future, besides for a select few companies, I don't think that expanding into the EV industry was a good move for most companies.
Well, I would just want to replace the word there. It's not it's less collapsing, more realizing its actual worth. You know, like when a company's really overinflated.
Well, yeah, but subsequently collapsing because all of a sudden you see these companies are investing less and less into their EV projects, right? Like they're just understanding that the market's not nearly as big as they estimated it was going to grow to.
Yeah. Well, you say that, but then there's companies like Jeep right now who are struggling, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, let's make a fully electric car. The idea of an electric car seems to be like the bailout of a company that's failing. Like a lot of companies are starting to do that.
It's a terrible bailout. They make nothing on it.
Yeah,
right, it's definitely a bailout.
It's definitely
for sure a bailout. That's what, meaning they have. It's something that it's a last ditch effort. The Wagoneer, Grand Wagoneer were an attempt by Jeep to expand their market. Didn't work out so well, and now there are two other segments they could go for. They already made a pickup truck. They made the Gladiator. They could go for a sedan, which would be nuts. Maybe I would buy a Jeep sedan just to see how it is.
By the way, Jeep sedan, that could save a company.
If
it was like a really good car, and it was off-roady, and it was nice, and it was like pretty good for its price, that would sell.
A road legal dune buggy.
That would sell. That would sell a lot. There are a lot of people who I know who would buy that.
But the Jeep golf cart.
Jeep golf cart could save
maybe they should They should collab with Fiat. Make a Jeep Fiat.
How about the Mini Cooper?
Big Mini Cooper. Big Mini Cooper.
I think Mini Cooper has to be the most divisive topic on this podcast.
I know that.
That's
why I brought it up.
Even more so than electric vehicles. I hate them, but Mini Coopers, man.
I'm not in love with EVs. I am not in love with EVs.
Exactly. That's why it's
just clarify.
Because you love Mini Coopers, and I despise them. They're equivalent to electric vehicles.
I remember Gabe went on this trip to Florida, and he was raving about this Mini Cooper when he came back. Like he was. I don't know. It sounded like.
Yeah, because I rented.
Like just saw the wheel for the first time.
It was the greatest thing ever. I pull up to the car rental space. I went in for a wedding to Miami, in and out. I roll up. My first time ever renting a car. Roll up, and the guy's like, "Are you okay with the Mini Cooper?" I'm like, "Bro, yeah, give it." No. Yeah, sure, I'll take it. Fine. Twist my arm. If you insist, you have nothing else.
I'm looking straight eye contact. No. I will not take that car. I will not try it.
It's either that
It is
or a Nissan
gross,
Versa.
It is disgusting. It is yucky, and I hate the company.
You're getting a Nissan Versa. You're getting a Toyota Yaris IA. You're gonna get a Chevy Cruze, a Chevy Sonic.
Sonic.
Gabe, I wanna propose a quick exercise
Quick exercise.
directed at Moshe.
Directed at me.
You go to the rental company.
Go to the rental
Go to Hertz. Right, walk into Hertz, and they say they got 2 cars left.
Only 2.
They got the Mini Cooper.
Yeah.
They got the Mustang Mach-E. Which one do you go for?
I'm walking. I have to walk. I am walking.
Nah, bro, you can't do. I would go
I am
honestly.
walking.
You're not even
I might take the
curious?
Mach-E in that scenario.
I mean, yeah, you don't, because you don't have, you're not as anti it as I am, you know. I hate it
I'm not
because
pro EVs.
Yeah,
not gonna
but you're taking
walk.
that over the. I don't know. It's a tough situation. I'm walking.
I'm taking the Mustang just to make.
I am not taking the Mustang. We've talked about the Mustang, I think, right? The Mustang.
We've
Mach-E.
I'm all way back. We have touched on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the first episodes. Yeah, no, I don't like that. I don't like that thing at all. I do not like it, Sam. I am very gross. Let's go to the next topic.
Next topic, but in general, I think it was a smart move by Jeep to go in. That I mean, this is the last ditch effort. There's that or a sedan. That's it. There's
Jeep
nothing.
Sedan. Let's
There's
do
no
it.
other avenue to do. Okay, moving on. No other avenue to do. What? Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna dwell on that.
We should put that on a t-shirt.
You'll edit that in post.
Who pays for the subcompact luxury SUV segment? So, Rev Frisch. The luxury subcompact SUV segment consists of the Cadillac XC4, a Volvo XC40. Should I pull up some? You have pictures on your end? Volvo XC40, the all-new Acura ADX, Alfa Romeo Tonale, BMW X1, X2, Mercedes-Benz GLB, and some GLA models. It's a pretty large market, but
You should call
it's
the class subcompact luxury.
so the big topic for us to discuss.
X6 is in this also, no?
Say again.
Isn't one of the Mazdas in this as well?
So it's not luxury. It wouldn't be
It's
considered
not
luxury.
though. It's not
Right, it's not luxury.
It's a subcompact, but it's not luxury.
It's a very big market. Forget about luxury. It's a subcompact SUV market is probably one of the most popular segments in general. There have been new entries into this segment for the last couple of years.
One of the fastest growing classes amongst middle-aged Jewish moms.
Yeah.
For sure. Yes. Yes.
Sure. They're completely
Yes.
replacing sedans because sedans are and subcompacts are up. So
It's
I don't
crazy.
know.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's the technical term.
But who pays for them? Meaning, I was looking in the numbers, and if you look at these cars, right? You look at that. You look at this. Let's take for example the Lexus UX. The Lexus UX. I'll pull up a picture for everybody to see. 2025 Lexus UX from Car and Driver. Car and Driver, everybody. That's our go-to. Let's just get a screen share. Figaro. Okay. So the UX is it's a small car. It's a teeny. This is a very similar size to the Toyota Corolla Cross.
It's a
This is-
sedan, but taller.
Exactly. It's not even just a sedan, but taller. It's a small sedan, but taller. Okay.
Well, it's pretty short.
It's
pretty
small.
short
It's a very
car.
small car. This car is not a big car by any stretch of the word. It's in the name, the subcompact SUV. It's a small SUV.
It's shorter
Now
than
this
an
car,
It's larger than a CUV though.
larger than a
CUV.
CUV, yeah.
CUV. What is that?
That's a thing.
CUV. Hidovy just on the Rev Report invented a new class
You never
of
heard of the
vehicle.
CUV? What kind of professionals am I dealing with here?
Well, let's just CUV.
CUV.
Oh my
Anywho.
god, it's a thing. Gabe.
What is it?
Gabe, we're wrong. It's a crossover utility vehicle. Oh my god, Gabe.
It's all the same segment, no?
We just got shown up on our own podcast.
Oh, well. Let's slow down. Let's not jump to conclusions
It's a
here.
crossover. It's a crossover
Can I
SUV.
drop
It's
this
the
mic?
same thing. It's the same. It's like
Yeah,
the same.
It's the same thing.
Like
Don't
the
drop mic,
Chevy.
please.
What's it called? The Chevy. Why am I blanking? Not the
Chevy,
Blazer. The smaller
Chevy
one.
Sonic.
The Trailblazer. The Sonic.
Trailblazer.
Honda CRV.
Honda CRV.
That's a CUV.
Are we sure?
No,
Yeah,
the
Honda
CRV is the compact. Right. Officially, the RAV4 is also in that segment too. And that's the RAV4 Rogue, CRV RAV4 Rogue. That's the segment name. We just call it SUV segment. But yeah, He is accurate. He's Dovey, but he's also accurate. Oh. Anywho, before we get sidetracked, the main argument we have to talk about, the main point that I wanted to make was that if you look at the price, this car is a small car, so that's the base price of a Lexus UX is, let's just scroll down because it's on the screen anyway, might as well just pull it up. It's easier for me so I don't have to look at my notes. $37,715. That's the base price for the UX. The
Lexus, not bad.
Not bad. Now the 2025 Toyota RAV4, okay? The base price for the RAV4, actually I have it in my notes here. Let me just look at my notes. The base, no I don't. I do. Oh, I dropped it. The base price, whoa. The base price, what are you getting when you get a luxury? Why would someone want a luxury car? Let me guess. You get leather seats, you get a sunroof probably, heated seats, ventilated seats, leather wrapped steering wheel, random stuff like that. Now, our fully loaded RAV4, fully decked out, is $40,350. So that's leather seats, sunroof, heated steering, all the bells and whistles. Basically a Lexus, and you get a CUV. You get a much bigger car than the UX, for sure. You're paying almost $3,000 more, and you get a bigger car. Now, the power department, that could be an argument. The power department is better on the UX than it is on the RAV4, about 1.5 seconds quicker on the UX.
Sluggish, no? What's the 0 to 60 on the UX?
The RAV4 0 to 60 is... where'd it go? RAV4 0 to 60 is 8.3 seconds around, roughly, and the UX is roughly that's XT4. The UX is roughly 7.7 seconds. So it's not a full second less. I was looking at a different comparison I made. I made it with the Corolla Cross. That was a comparison that I wanted to do, but even the Corolla Cross, 9.2 seconds, 0 to 60, which is the Toyota version of the UX, essentially. Maybe a drop smaller. Very small cars, but the problem I have with this segment is that when you're coming to buy a car and you have your budget in front of you, everything's in front of you, what's compelling me to go ahead and pay more for a base model Lexus over, say, pay less for a fully loaded Toyota? And it happens to other models too. Why would I pay more for a base model Acura when I could get a fully loaded Honda? What is it about this segment that people are drawn to? I would imagine it's just the badge. I mean, it's just the badge. That's probably the argument. Yes, Dobie. It's probably just the badge, right? It gives you a little more spice.
But
The name is always.
yeah, even a base model Lexus is gonna have some nice stuff in it. I mean, the sound system is always gonna be higher quality. It's gonna be a quieter ride. It's gonna be a smoother ride. Even if you don't get suspension upgrades, it's gonna be it's gonna just be nice. It'll be a smooth ride. Power steering is very good in Lexuses. They're Lexi. Generally, the interior design is better. I personally just prefer the interior design of Lexuses over. I'm just going to refer to them as Lexi. Normally, they're a lot better interior designing, like the fan layout, the screen is generally better. Has better connectivity to Apple Play and Samsung Play. I don't know Google Play. But even if you're comparing the highest Toyota model comparatively to the base model Lexus, even the price is it's still gonna be a higher quality car. Not all the things you're gonna get engine, you normally have to upgrade specifically that. But when you go to a Lexus, despite the fact you're also getting the brand name, you're also getting the higher quality class of car because of the name. Generally, the car is built better. Not built better like reliability. I mean actual materials and design in the car, an overall experience, I would say.
Now I am unmuted. I definitely hear you. I just don't know if the difference in a lot of these models is so significant that someone who's driving a Lexus UX and someone who's driving a Toyota Corolla Cross will actually be able to tell the difference, even between a RAV4 and a UX. For specifically the RAV4 and the UX, where the RAV4 is a bigger car. If you could get a bigger car with seemingly very similar power, less than a second differential between the 0 to 60 times, and the luxuries are the same, even though yes, you're still getting a Toyota.
The selectable luxuries are the same, but the things you can't add on with extra packages, you can't change that. Those are always going to be better on the Lexus. You can add a better engine. You can add extra room in the back. You can add the extra like winter climate sound system, but there are things that you can't add, like a better system in the car.
On a UX, on specifically the subcompact SUV segment, where these cars aren't the other cars in the with these manufacturers. The Lexus UX is not the RX by any stretch of the word.
Sure.
It's a different car.
Still a Lexus.
Right, but that's where the disconnect is, because what I'm saying is that these cars, specifically these subcompact SUV cars, they're like in a weird spot where they're in the middle. Yes, the BMW X1 is definitely that's great because it's sporty, it's quick, fun. But there are a number of these cars that are kind of in the middle, where they're not the lower end company. So you have, let's just say, Acura, the ADX. The ADX is not Honda because it's an Acura, but it's also not a real Acura because it doesn't have real leather. What is that? Until you up the base model doesn't have real leather. What does that mean? It doesn't. It's
fake leather's pretty good. It's pretty.
But it's an
solid.
Acura.
Does it need to come from the cow? No, you can make fake stuff.
One is that I think that a lot of these cars specifically are in a weird spot where they're not actually a part of. They're not one of the boys. They're kind of like the black sheep of the family.
It's a shtickle forced chill, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a forced chill.
Yeah, but you got the Lexus L on it. The thing's gonna vroom. It sounds great. Rides
well, it's
great.
not though. That's what I'm saying. It's not actually gonna vroom.
It is. Maybe
It's not gonna vroom. Yes, Toby.
Gabe, I'm gonna appeal to your watch side here. Okay, would you rather have a very flashy Invicta or kind of a boring looking Rolex? Right?
Boring looking Rolex.
This is not the watch report, the guys.
Now listen, he's making a valid point. No, but Dovey, but would I rather the question really should be, would I rather a fully decked out Invicta or a knockoff Rolex? That's what I'm saying. These cars are knockoff.
It's not a knockoff.
Yes, it is.
It's not a knockoff.
Okay, let's just skip to the Acura ADX. The ADX, okay?
ADX.
Watch the way, okay. I'm going to pull up.
I'm gonna mute our side. I'm gonna mute our side so that we can't interject.
Let me just make a disclaimer for everybody. I firmly believe that there are a lot of cars in this segment that are great cars. I'm not saying that about every single car in the segment, but the question does have to be asked on this segment specifically, where the price of the vehicle is more for a smaller car than it is for a fully loaded larger car, and the power differential is not that crazy. Meaning,
Objection.
yes,
Speculation.
I'm gonna prove it. I'm gonna.
Okay. Sorry, please.
For example, with the Cadillac, I just said a fully loaded Toyota RAV4 fully decked out RAV4. Price point of $40,350. Okay, we're just gonna call it $40K. 0 to 60 time of 8.3 seconds. That's not fast. That is slow. It's not as slow as what was the slowest cars that we spoke about?
Semi putt-putt.
This is a semi. It's not
Vista. It's not Buick Vista.
This is like a race car compared to the Invista. It's like a race car.
It's not a race car. It's quick.
Very quick. And the Invista, I think, is 9.7 seconds.
Yeah, it's crazy. What was the 0 to 60 on this one again?
8.3 seconds.
8.3. Should we do the vroom?
We could.
You count? All right, you
so
ready?
I'll count. 3,
all right.
2, 1, go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, It's
And
yeah,
now
it's
you're
basi-
on 60. That's a while. Also, you counted
It's a
little
long time.
fast.
It's not fast. It's not fast at
Rev
all.
Report.
I think that was
Not
pretty
fast
brief.
at all.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give it fast points.
It's been a pleasure.
You're leaving? What? You have to miss. No, you're gonna miss the punchline. Whoa, 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 whoa,
You
whoa.
gotta wait for the punchline.
5
Wait for the
minutes.
punchline.
5 minutes. I'm gonna make it
5
quick.
minutes, 5 minutes,
Oh, Dobie, 5 minutes.
He's
Okay.
waiting for the punchline.
This is gonna be big. 1 second. Take it.
Is that a segment?
8.3 seconds.
No.
Okay. Base model Cadillac XT4 is 7 seconds 0 to 60 roughly. The base model UX is 7.7 seconds. The base model XC40 much quicker, 6.1 seconds, and the base model Acura RDX is 8.7 seconds. Now, a lot of those models, for example, the XC40, no problem being $41,000, more expensive than a RAV4, but there's a clear difference over here. Yes, you're getting a different brand, but you have to understand that the Toyota, fully loaded Toyota, is basically a Lexus, right? You're getting comfort in the fully loaded Toyota. The fully loaded Toyotas are insanely comfortable. Real leather, heated steering, you're basically getting a Lexus. It is what it is. You are essentially getting a Lexus.
It's not. And guess
It
what?
is.
I want to point out, we focus too much on the 0 to 60 for cars that we should not be focusing on the 0 to 60.
Right, but that's why I'm gonna
look at
prove.
the
I'm
Buick
I'm
Envista.
gonna eliminate. I'm eliminating some of those cars now because they win. I mean, the XC40 has a pass because there's a clear difference between this and a fully loaded RAV4. Very clear.
Fine.
It's much quicker. Boom.
Sure.
The UX also 7.7 seconds is almost a full second quicker. That is a pretty significant difference. We'll give the UX a pass.
Sure.
The XT4 also 7 seconds, a second and 1.3 second faster. That's also you get a pass. You get a pass because the price point isn't crazy. The UX also is cheaper than the RAV4, so it's okay. Those cars get passes. The Acura ADX. Oh man, I decided it's so noisy. But the Acura ADX, 8.7 seconds. It's slower than the RAV4. Slower.
It's rough.
What brand are we paying for here? Acura is luxury sport. Yes, a BMW X1. You're paying for a sporty car, and that's what it will come to deliver. An X2 as well. The XC40 is a little more sporty.
Falling off for a while. This is not a sudden thing. Acura's been for a while. Acura's like, the three major Japanese companies. You Nissan, Toyota, Honda, right? Of those three, of the basic ones, Nissan's been falling off. But of the luxury ones, Acura's, Infinity's doing great. Lexus is doing great. Acura, what have they been doing,
Lincoln.
What?
Lincoln.
That's not the three major Japanese companies.
Let's fact check that real quick. I just want to, because I know that.
You want to do numbers? We can do numbers.
No, I want to see numbers because I think they're probably doing worse than we actually think.
It's true.
Let me see.
I don't know anyone buying an Acura.
How many
Because when you
Acuras?
think of an
How
Acura,
many
no one thinks
how many
of
Lexuses
Acura.
have been?
No one thinks of Acura as its own thing. They think of it as fancy Honda, right? People buy a Lexus because it's a Lexus. People buy Infinity because it's an Infinity. No one's buying those because they're related to the other companies. But when you think Acura, you're thinking fancy Honda. It's too closely linked.
Right, I agree.
The Lexus point, but not the Infinity point.
No?
I think people are. buying-
Infinity's a great car company. I don't think of it as its fancy
I think
counterpart.
Lexus has its own identity. I don't think Infinity does.
I think Infinity definitely does.
We're doing Infinity Lexus.
Sombrero?
Excuse me. Okay. Wow. Oh my gosh. Woo. Holy cow.
It's my Tony Stark.
Wow. Okay.
He's not talking about
Shee. In 2024, Lexus sold over 2 million cars.
In
Okay.
where? 24?
2024 in the USA. In 2024 in the USA, Acura sold.
US.
Yeah. Acura sold 83,143 cars. In 2024 in the US.
Told y'all, I'm telling you,
Wait,
Acura is going kaput.
What about Infinity?
Wait.
Infinity's
Infinity
probably
sold 58,070 cars. Now, obviously, but that could be. We went through this last week with a different manufacturer. I forgot who it was, but Lexus has a much larger array of cars.
Lexus is really its own
What
identity.
about
I think Infinity is its own thing, but apparently not enough.
Infinity
No,
has.
Infinity. Those were Infinity's numbers.
Infinity was 53,000.
Really?
Acura was 80,000. But Lexus is 2 million.
Do we have a smaller? Let's do Genesis because Genesis is a smaller.
Well,
Lexus
Genesis
is pretty
also
much
really
elite.
popular now. Genesis is on the rise.
How many cars has Genesis sold
I
in the
don't think you
US
can really compare this.
in the
Genesis
USA
is
in
Hyundai.
2024?
I thought you said Hyundai.
So really, the truth is, my only bone to pick is with the Acura ADX. That's it. The other cars, I guess, get a pass. But my only bone to
I
pick
got
in
one
this
pick
segment
with
is the
entirety
ADX. Okay,
Acura, and we're talking about this next week too.
Genesis.
Chopping block Acura next week.
The entirety of Acura.
This is crazy. Okay, Genesis sold 70,816 cars in the US in
But that's
2024.
good. That's good because they're on the rise. They're a newer company.
Well,
You
that
know,
is
and Acura
2024
has no
numbers, but
excuse.
yeah.
Infinity
Yeah.
has no excuse. Genesis is like we're a new thing. They're on the rise. They're doing better every year. So good for them. You know.
Called Infinity.
It's very interesting. This whole thing is very interesting, but I can't.
Lexus is
One
mamish
second. Let me.
its own.
Can I
Lexus
show you
is
these
definitely
pictures?
The most prominent out of the three.
But it's crazy because when we
But
look at
Infinity-
Nissan numbers, Nissan's
show you
on the
this picture.
you know Honda, Toyota, they're neck and neck.
So why aren't you chopping block in Nissan?
We did
We did.
Chopping
Oh,
block
did
in
we?
Nissan?
2 weeks
That's
ago.
crazy.
Yeah.
One second. Check out these pictures.
Yeah.
So you guys would agree, Moshe and Dovi, you guys would agree that in order to have a successful luxury brand of a company, luxury brand of a manufacturer, so that means in order for a Lexus to be successful, in order for, let's say, a Cadillac to be successful, right? Cadillac, Chevy, in order for a Acura to be successful, or in order for an Infiniti to be successful, it has to be something that's different than its younger siblings, right? It has to be different. A Lexus has to be different than a Toyota, whether it's no matter where it is. If it's exactly the same, then what is it?
To have its own identity.
Exactly.
To be its own thing.
Right. So we agree with that. We agree with that sentiment that there should be something unique about.
I 70% agree. I think better.
Okay.
Is
Yeah,
more
you
important.
70%.
I'll show you these pictures,
I
then
think
you.
better is definitely more important than different. You know, like if something is
No, better,
similar,
right.
but does
Different and
something
better.
a lot better, that could suffice. It doesn't have to be complete. It doesn't have to reinvent the wheel.
I agree with you. It definitely has to be better. But if they can't be better, they have to at least be different. At least, right? At least. It can't be exactly the
When it
same.
comes to this kind of thing,
Yes.
yes, I think you're right about this because with Lexus especially, like nobody thinks of Lexus and immediately. I mean, maybe obviously car people do, but most people when they think of Lexus, they just think of Lexus. They don't immediately jump to Toyota in their brain. Moshe, like you were saying before, Acura is just kind of like fancy.
Acura
Honda,
is just fancy Honda.
right. Infinity kind of the same thing. Like if I'm in Infinity, if I didn't see the logo, I would be like, oh, I might be in a Nissan right now. I don't know. They're basically almost exactly the same car. It doesn't
Right,
really
right.
have its own identity. I know
That
Moshe
is
was saying it does, but
I hear you. I
I
agree
think
with you.
Lexus is really like its own thing, and it's very strong in that way. It could survive on its own.
It's true. So check this out. Check this out. This is the HRV. You having a good look of it? That's the exterior. And I want you to take an important note of the interior. Just have this in your mind. Okay?
It's the
Good.
kind of interior Gabe would like.
Not a bad interior. Pretty nice. Pretty well. Refresh was nice. Good. You got the interior of the HRV. So Honda. Now I'm going to show you the Acura ADX.
No.
It's nice. It has a little bit of an Acura flair, right?
I like the gray.
Very accurate. Yeah.
Very Acura with the front over here, with the front face. Then if you go to the truth is this picture actually doesn't do justice. This is the rear. It does have an Acura flair, but looks like an HRV, but with an Acura flair, which is what it is. The interior. The truth is this interior this is actually the A spec. This is the fully loaded interior, so I'm not going to pull up. I'm going to go to a different site. I'm going to go to the Acura website and show you the base model.
It's pretty similar.
Very similar, but you want to see something even crazier. The base model ADX interior looks exactly the same. I kid you not. Obviously there's a slight nuance in it, like for example, where you put your elbow, it's not as it's a little cooler on the ADX. But here we go. Let me show you the base model ADX interior. Oh my gosh, I can't. It's crazy. It's insane. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, stop. Look at that.
It's the same car.
It's
the same car.
Same car.
Same car.
So why would
The logo's
anybody
just slightly worse. That's it.
same? The only difference between the ADX and the HRV is that The ADX is a little faster. The HRV has a 0 to 60 of 9.4 seconds. The ADX has 8.7 seconds. That's not a large margin.
I gotta tell you, you really surprised me with those Infinity numbers because I thought Infinity was selling a lot more.
Really? No, you sounded like they were bad. Oh no, you thought Acura was more, but still.
Acura. I thought Acura. Yeah. Toyota's just not fair. It's just at this point, Toyota's just not fair. It's just what they do.
It's interesting though, because Toyota itself is honestly, it feels the most blue collar to me out of the three.
Out of the what?
Yeah, out of the big three. Yeah, I don't know why.
Because that's what they're doing. They're like, yes, we are the blue collar ones, and they take over your mind, and you have a positive opinion on
They
them.
appeal to that market very well.
They have whole teams of scientists.
No, because they're
they're
affordable. They make they make
the least.
very point A, point B.
No, but I'm saying
but
negative.
better than point A
It
than
feels
point B.
like the lowest status out of the three.
Right.
Yeah.
It feels the lowest, but that's a good thing. That's what they want.
Yeah, they're appealing to that market.
That's what they want. And guess what? They appeal to the market pretty darn well because they sell how many? What did we say? We said 10 million cars a year in the U.S. No, that's
Oh
Lexus.
yeah, no more than
Toyota.
that. Way more. I think they sell like 2 million. Should we check?
Yeah, you want to check the numbers? U.S.
20
2024 Toyota.
2020. Okay, let me put myself on mute because it's
We were
noisy.
comparing them to Fiat last week because we wanted to, show a massacre. I thought Fiat was selling $100,000 cars a year, not just the U.S. because I thought it was pretty big in Europe, which it is comparatively because in the U.S. they sold like 30 cars. In Europe they sold like 2,000, but that's it.
2,000 in the entire Europe.
In the world,
How do we even know what Fiat is then?
I don't know.
Okay, they sold
Toyota.
2,332,623 vehicles
Toyota's
in the
worldwide
U.S.
or
in
US?
2024.
They're selling equal amounts of Toyotas and Lexuses.
Looks like.
There gotta be something wrong here then. No, I feel like there's something off with.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
doesn't make any sense.
how many cars did Lexus? That's awkward. So, in 2024 in the USA. Ow,
2,300,000.
that's crazy. But what number did I say before?
How many Lexuses
Okay, 1 second.
sold in
The numbers here: 345,000 Lexuses have been sold in 2024.
You said 2 million before.
I know. Why did it come up as? That's so awkward.
Was it AI?
No, I just Googled it. I just not even Googled it. I Microsoft
Still.
Binged it. How many how many cars
Microsoft
did?
Bing did? That was your first mistake.
No, I searched how many car. I'll show you what I did. I'll show you exactly what I did here. Let me screen share. Screen share. Oh, I
If
can
you want
do
to
that.
know, we are 57 minutes in, so we should probably get close to
Here.
wrapping up here.
How many cars? Yeah, we're wrapping up soon. Don't worry.
Microsoft Bing.
Yeah, Gabe, we got a chopping block Microsoft Bing for you next
Man,
week, too.
I mean-
How many cars did Lexus sell? 20.
Plug Gabe.
Wow, that's what I did. And no, to this, know what must have happened? I must have written Toyota. That's awkward. Oops. But still, that's still significantly more than Acura
It's still
Infinity.
significantly more, but it's not
Yeah.
2 million. I
Right.
thought very
Yeah.
highly
Wow.
of Lexus
Okay.
for a second.
That's awkward. Moving on.
Yeah.
Still,
What's the
that's-
last topic for
you're
tonight?
one of those
Our
more
last
leaders.
topic.
Let's do a quick short topic because we are pretty long into
It's
this
so
right now.
loud here. All right, you choose.
Let's finish it off with, let's see. What is the future of the EV? We've covered this many times, so this is mostly going to be a recap, but we've normally talked about this in
got
other
thoughts.
segments. Dovey's got thoughts. We'll let those in a second. Generally, we talk about the future of EV pretty sporadically within other topics, but this one we're specifically just going to talk, what is the future of EV? EV, electric vehicles were really popular when Tesla started up. And they had a huge boom. Everyone's like, oh my god, it's an electric car. I want one. That's super cool because it was really the first time ever you can actually realistically get an electric vehicle and it wouldn't be like insane. Like you could charge at your house. It has pretty solid range. They're comfortable. They're cool. Comfortable and they're cool. And no one else was doing it. And then everyone bought them because everyone's like, wow, that's a cool new thing. I want it. And then other companies were like, we got to get in on this. And all the other companies started getting in on this. And then now we're in 2025. And the hype is gone. And now people aren't adding the benefit of electric car hype to the purchase of an electric car. Where that used to be one of the pros. Like if you made a list of pros and cons, you could do cons. Takes a while to fill up. Not like insane range. But on the pros, you could put cool, sleek, and it's an electric car, you know? But now you can't add the pro of like, wow, it's an electric car. the hype is gone, right? The overinflation is gone. So now we're really seeing what the people want. And the people don't really want electric vehicles as much as companies estimated they did. A lot of companies are beginning to pull back on their electric car R&D. They're going back to combustion. Electric vehicles are pricey. And the cars that sell the most, obviously, are affordable point A, point B cars. And it's really difficult to beat Tesla in their own game of the most point A, point B you can get in electric cars. Because electric cars outside of Tesla are normally pretty darn expensive. You got Rivian, you got Polestar, you got Lucid. Those are not cheap cars by any means. You can't really get point A, point B out of those, except for Tesla, who's been doing it, who's been putting 100% of their R&D into these electric cars for so long. So how are you going to beat Tesla in their own game unless you're going expensive, unless you're going high end? So I really think the hype is dead, and I think people are really starting to pull back on the electric car craze.
So I definitely agree with you that well, Dober, do you have anything to add?
You can go first.
I definitely agree with you that the EV future is I'm not bullish on the EV future. Psh, bullish. Wow. See, stock market talk. Okay. I'm not
Finance approved.
I'm not bullish on it. I'm really not. For those of you that don't know, bullish means like high optimism, right? High levels of optimism. That's what it is.
Started the economics podcast.
Yeah.
Basically, I think that what it really comes down to, forget about R&D, forget about other aspects, the hype or anything like that. Obviously, those are all very important. But even if we take those all away, even if we kept the R&D, we kept the hype, we kept everything there, we had the price at a very affordable price. I think what it has come down to is when you go to a random person and say, hey, do you want to get an EV? And they say, not really. You ask why not? They say, I don't really have an access to a charger. Or they'll say, I'm not down to wait an hour or wait 35 minutes to go from 10 to 80% when I'm driving my car. Like, I want to go to the gas station. I go from empty to full in 47 and a half seconds. I don't want to wait an hour. So until that happens, until we have a way to eliminate that, until these manufacturers create a technology or a charging platform that can charge your car, not only a platform that charges your car quickly in the same amount of time, let's say even a minute, 2 minutes, I think that'll be fine. It's not such a crazy difference between 4 to 5 seconds. It is, but like people will live if it's much cheaper, and people won't necessarily balk at a 2-minute fill-up time as opposed to a 40-minute fill-up time. Or even an hour. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. It is absolutely.
With like, oh, we give you like free bagels at the place.
It's crazy. Like, I don't understand why.
40-minute charge up.
Until
crazy.
that happens.
They also do the how long it takes for you to go from 20 to 80. I don't want 20 to 80. I want 5 to 100. You know, don't give me 20 to 80.
Mm-hmm. So until that happens, until these manufacturers have a way to charge your cars much quicker, much closer to that of filling up a tank of a combustion engine from empty to full, as well as continue to build more infrastructure that allows people to have more more access to these chargers, the EV market is going to stay either stagnant or fall off. It's not. It has to be sustainable, and it has to become filling up your EV can't just be filling it up at home, and it can't be that when you're filling it up at home you have to plug it in the entire night in order to get a full charge. It has to become easy. That's the number one thing I hear, that people say that people are concerned about the charging speed, and there are no chargers around. I don't want to have to worry about charging my car. When you drive a gas car, when you drive a regular combustion engine car, we're not worried about you go on the road. We spoke about this I think 2 weeks ago. You go on the road.
Yosemite National Park. There are Shell stations everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a fear that we don't even know it. We can't even understand the fear of not having a place to give your car energy. We don't even know what that means.
No clue.
So
it's just right there.
How are we supposed to buy
How are they supposed to compete?
an EV? Yes. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. Any thoughts?
Yeah, so okay.
I'm going to mute myself.
Give me So what was that?
While Dovey's thinking,
I'm good now.
Oh, he's good.
What were you gonna do?
No, please go.
I want to know what you were gonna do.
Dovey, just go.
Okay.
We're live, please.
Okay, Gabe. So I think I would say it's less. Okay, I think you're kind of attributing the stagnation and I guess the slow decline.
Stagnation, fancy word.
He said stagnant.
Shit.
I think you're
Stagnated.
attributing the lack of availability.
He's single and ready to mingle, and he plays guitar. Ooh.
I am single. Ready.
By the way, you gonna do it by my wedding? You gonna give me that live intro of Reckoner? On the spot. We are live. Nah, you don't have to. No, I want you to enjoy the wedding. You don't have to like.
Yeah, he's gonna do that. I'll make sure he does that.
I could do it, man.
You know what I'm talking? You know Reckoner. You know what I'm talking about,
I
right?
play guitar. I do.
Yeah, he plays.
You know what I'm talking about.
Look
You know what I
there,
want. You know.
It'll be dark room, like smoke start pouring in. I'll see spotlight.
It's not that kind of song.
It's more like.
Just continue.
It could be. I could make it into it.
Dude, how does it start again?
So I think.
Okay, we'll talk after.
You're attributing. Gabe. Focus.
Cars, guys, please.
Okay, I think you're attributing the current direction of the EV market to the lack of availability in fuel, or at least you're giving you're naming that as one of the causes, right, or one of the faults. I think it's kind of the opposite. I think that
Correct.
the availability. Okay, so the EVs are a network good, right? Cars in general are a network good. They become more convenient the more people use them, right? So it's kind of the opposite. Like the growth, or I guess the availability of the fuel depends on how quickly the EV industry is growing. It was growing at a very fast pace, and it's gotten much easier over the years to refill your EV, and it's gotten much faster too. Like I think you were still talking about 40-minute wait times. It's gotten cut down to like maybe 15. It has maybe 30.
Only Tesla superchargers, and you have to pay a monthly fee for them. Imagine to pay a
No,
monthly
that's
fee
not.
for a
That's not
gas
from 0 to
station.
full.
stupid
That
things
still
That's not
takes
from 0
over
to full.
20
That's
minutes.
also- that's 20 to 8.
You also have to pay a monthly fee of $40,000 in order for your freaking Cybertruck to turn on.
Right.
So
and it won't, because all the panels will fall off.
correct.
And you have to walk down the entire I-95 trying to look for your bumper.
If a fly lands on it, actually the instruction manual on the Cybertruck says that you should not let bugs get on it because it might just turn off.
It does say that, actually. They might fly into the emergency
Yes.
shut-off switch, which is right on the hood. It's the self-destruct button that's right there. It's also
How are you
that's
supposed to
ready for the
block
ignition.
bugs from getting on your car?
Great invention has
You
a
can.
self-destruct
You just have to pray to Hashem.
Any
It's
great
gonna,
invention has a self-destruct button, as mentioned by Dr.
Yeah.
Doofenshmirtz Schlita.
Shlita.
So,
That's a doofus. That's
They
nice.
put the self-destruct button right next to the ignition, so hopefully... And they both kind of say start, stop, because,
Right.
one of them...
don't start ever.
Ever again.
Right.
One of them's beep, the car's gone.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Right.
Hey, the platypus.
I think I'm more aligned with Moshe here,
Yeah.
which was like more of a broad kind of stance.
Yeah.
Had to do this,
Right. You're saying it's not necessarily the fact that.
again, like the hype has gone to an extent. Like I think again, like people are not. I guess like what was a big driver of it was the whole, people were trying to be
Ooh, electric
environmental.
cars,
Yeah, EV. Oh, look, I'm different. People trying to be environmentally friendly. All that. People also discovered, like, first of all, I guess the savings aren't even that great because the cars are massively expensive, like upon first purchase, and like there's only a tiny handful of companies that have managed to actually turn a profit. The only ones are Tesla. What's the big China one? You know what I'm talking
Build your dreams.
about? BYD.
Massive, by the way.
Right.
It's huge
Build
in
your
Europe.
dreams. It's very that's a big one, and those have done well. I think the BMW EV subsidiary has done pretty well.
I don't think it's turned a profit yet.
I think it has. I've looked into it.
He's looked into
I've
it,
looked
guys.
into it.
He's looked into it.
Oh, he's
He's
looked into
looked
it.
into it.
Oh,
It's the first time anyone's
that was
ever
unfair.
looked
You
into
set
it
him
on
up
the
for
Rev
that.
Report.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the first time on
Wow.
the Rev Report anyone has ever looked into it.
Yes.
I don't think, frankly, that
I came
we're...
prepared.
I don't think that we're ready for this level of intelligence.
No,
We
no.
just
What?
did the
This is not the
test
first time.
about
We've looked
10
into
minutes
things
ago.
before.
Listen, I offer from tests too. if you
Adobe
want.
does not... You were ready to leave
I
by
could
the
do- I
vroom
could do-
test.
you want me
The
to do-
vroom
No, this
test
is-
is very scientific.
No, I could do you one better. I could offer the EV vroom test. Okay, start counting.
Are you ready? 3, 2, 1.
The point is that you can't hear it. Very good. Very
So
good.
basically, all this is to say that EVs they've kind of lost their shine, and they're just not profitable for companies. So it's
they're
becoming.
cycles.
I think in the short term, we're looking at a big a big pullback of the market overall. Like, those companies are going to stop investing in this for a good amount of time, especially with, like the current administration people. There's just not much support for it. Like, it's just really not beneficial for companies anymore.
Yeah.
And even the largest EV distributor in the world, or at least in America, like, there's politics aside for a second, they've taken a lot of hits to their image. Basically, okay, so they've kind of alienated their target market. I don't know if it's not looking great, so I think we're probably going to see some kind of transformation of the EV market. I don't think it's extinct. I don't think it's going to go extinct, but I do think you're going to start seeing a pivot, possibly towards hybrid vehicles, possibly towards what's the other thing that's like it's
Hydrogen.
That's right. I think we're going to start
The
seeing
Toyota Mirai.
I have my headphones on very loud because I can't have the speaker on or else it'll make an echo. So I have one pointed out that way so we can hear, and you just fully just like screamed that into my left ear. So I appreciate that. I will send you the medical bill for my ruptured eardrum.
Moshe's really going to enjoy just the drum section of the Beatles.
Yes, and with that, I believe...
But Adobe's not done.
Never mind.
Our double finance major isn't finished.
Are you finished?
My final point is that I'm done.
Okay, and with that...
Hey, we'll let the viewers decide which opinion they stand with, because I still... I mean, I hear what you said. I hear what you're saying, but at the end of the day, if the charging situation does not get better and more accessible, then they can't expect people to buy EVs.
Yep.
Just it's a simpler... Really, we're in agreement here. On a simpler level. You need to get the infrastructure in place. And with that, as Moshe said...
And with that, that is the end of today's Rev Report episode.
Subscribe, share.
Look at this.
Subscribe, share, and
check out my website, LevyAutoGroupLLC.com.
LevyAutoGroupLLC.com.
Check out the merch page.
Not anymore, I fixed it.
Soon, possibly. We'll see, and have yourself a fantastic Rev Report night. This is Moshe Frisch calling in. Gabe?
Wonderful night. For all your car consulting needs, reach out to me via my email, LevyAuto@gmail.com. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Thank you for listening and watching, or both. You could do both. And he dropped the duck. Okay. Good night. Good night, Dovey Frisch and Moshe Frisch. Out.
You can hit.
I'm gonna hit. Yeah. Should I hit end? I could. I don't have to. I should do it. Okay. I'm gonna do it. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro,
Likewise.
cinco, seis.